All right, let's talk about mindset. So when you're starting off as an entrepreneur, most of us come from like a working background, and when you're working a job, there's a degree of security because you know that you know what you're going to be getting paid, you know what your tasks are, you know that you're going to be held accountable if you don't come in. You know that somebody else is handling the payroll. They're going to make sure your check is right. They're calculating your hours for you. It's basically a structured environment. When you start to become an entrepreneur, you take on all of those tasks. So basically, you want to wrap your head around the fact that I'm my own boss. I'm gonna have to hold myself accountable. I'm gonna have to get up out of the bed in the morning. I'm gonna have to set my own schedule. I'm gonna have to follow up. I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do to create the future that I want, because basically when you go to work every week, you know that you're working for a future goal. That future goal is a paycheck at the end of the week. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to take the same mindset, but you just have to own it and you have to hold yourself accountable. So everything you do as an entrepreneur sets you up for the future. If you don't work today, you don't eat. You don't get paid later, just like a job. But the difference is when you have a job, you're being held accountable to coming to work and doing your job and clocking in and communicating with people. You're almost forced to do this by being in that environment. And so what I see a lot of times is, we as people, we're coming into entrepreneurship and we're thinking that somebody's going to hold us accountable, and the real truth of it is you might work 40 hours at a job, but when you come into entrepreneurship, like, you got to do whatever it takes. So it might be an 80-hour work week. It might be work while you on like while you at dinner with the kids. Work might pop up, and you just got to be prepared for that mentally. You got to know what you're getting yourself into, and I think that's important because it all depends. It all matters when you're looking to be successful. Like, if you're not serious about creating this opportunity for yourself or making this result that you want, then you probably gonna run into some stress and run into some situations where you're gonna be giving up. You're gonna be hitting a wall. So first things first, you got to make sure that your mental state is right. You got to have that mental fortitude and the mental development to the point where you understand that I'm gonna have to fight through a lot of stuff. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It's pretty hard, to be honest with you. It looks glamorous. It looks green on the other side, from a job. But for the most part, entrepreneurship is very, very hard. It's much more easier to work a job and just have everything laid out for you and you just go in there. I mean, on the job, sometimes you can bullshit around. You don't have to work as hard as you will have to work when it all depends on you. So at the end of the day, guys, I really want to stress the point that, you want to start doing some self-development. You want to start doing some self awareness, self-care, different things like that. Just looking at, making sure that you're taking care of your mental state along the way, because you can get burnt out. You can you it's going to be a new thing for you. So if you don't have the passion for what you're doing, or you don't know the reason why you're doing it, once it gets hard, you're going to check out and probably give up. So you want to acknowledge the reason why. You want to have a burning desire for why you're doing what you're doing, why you're stepping out into this entrepreneur world. Like, what is it that you want to get accomplished? Because that's going to keep you grinding when you get to those points where it's like, okay, this is hard as shit. I need to, go back and read some more, or go to a networking event, or do some homework, or maybe do some studying to update, on what I'm working on. What's the next step? Figuring that part out. It's a whole process into becoming an entrepreneur, and it first starts in your mind. So that's one of the first. That has to be the first module in this course, is letting you guys know that you need to read different books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, you know, Traction, The 4 Hour Work Week, stuff like that. Mindset books that are going to get you prepared for the journey ahead and get you prepared for how other entrepreneurs are being successful. So that you won't hit those walls and you won't give up, guys. So that's the first thing on our list in our module. And it's the most important thing by far. because, energy is the highest form of currency. If you don't have the energy to do something, you won't get it done. And your brain controls the functions of your body. You have to have the a clear vision of where you're going, a clear reason why you're doing it, and believing in yourself that you can do it. So you have to build up those mental faculties, because we're coming from almost um, from a worker, mentality, where it's like you're being told what to do, and on this side, you're telling yourself, you're giving yourself the rules, you're holding yourself accountable, you're telling yourself what to do, and that can be hard sometimes, because we can fall into like things that we like to do. We can fall into oversleeping. We can fall into I'll do it tomorrow. That's like the worst phrase in entrepreneurship, is I'll do it tomorrow, because tomorrow becomes the next day, the next day, the next day, and you just keep going down that rabbit hole. So first things first, get your mindset together. Never tell yourself you're going to do it tomorrow. Hold yourself accountable. Get your why. Get your belief in yourself, and all those other good things that come along with personal development, so that you will be prepared on your journey into a successful entrepreneurship business model. So I want you guys to take time, look on YouTube, go check out some of those books that I mentioned. And if you have any questions, like I said, you can ask them in the Facebook group. I'll put a list of books down here below this video that will give you guys an idea of some of the books that I've read in my journey to create the mental fortitude that has carried me this far. And you'll need to do the same, guys, because there will be a time where it will get hard, and you will have to remain consistent, and you will have to fight through it. But you won't fight through it if you don't fight the battle in your mind. If you can't win that battle, you won't win the physical battle of continuing to do the work. So that's the first video. I want you guys to take some time right now, look into that, put that in your schedule, because that's very, very important. I'll see you in the next video.